We have our first lightning talk, which is Lynn Pham, who is giving us a talk on an overview of weight stats.
Morning. All right, so I'm the creator and maintainer of the weight stats project. So to start, what is Weight? Well, Weight is a weekly news quiz show on NPR. The first show aired in January 3rd, 1998, with Dan Coffey and Carl Castle. The show now is hosted by Peter Sagal, and scorekeeper is Bill Curtis. The show format is about 50 minutes long. There's a rotating panel of 3 panelists. There are questions, bluff the listener segments, and they usually have a celebrity guest as part of their Not My Job. So they're now in their 27th year, I think. So the Weight Stats project is something I started in 2007 as I was starting to collect information from the show, primarily to serve my curiosity. So I started collecting appearances, scores, just interesting notes, any scoring errors and whatnot. Originally it was written in PHP, but it's now written in Python. And it consists of multiple websites. But the key foundation is the stats library, which is written in Python using NumPy for all the statistical aggregation calculation. The documentation is done in restructured and using Sphinx to publish the docs, to read the docs. The stats page is kind of the main portion of the stats project. It's written in Flask using Bootstrap for the front end. And it has sections for shows, panelists, hosts. You can get an overview of each show. You can get an overview of how well panelists have done, how many appearances. Next is the report site. That is kind of the collection of stats and other information that doesn't really fit into the main stats page. So you can do queries against, how well a panelist has done against another panelist. You can get information about different locations. The graph site is where I've created visualizations of the data, heat maps, bar charts, line charts. And it's built on Flask, Bootstrap for the front end, and using Plotly for the charting library. And then there's a stats API. So if you're ever interested in getting information from the stats project, api.wwdt.me. It's built on Fast API. There's a Swagger UI that you can use to just ping the data. All that information is generated by Fast API using the Open API features. That's it. The QR code is for the presentation, and thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lynn. That was a great talk. Next up, we have Nick, who has a talk for you.
Where's my mouse gone? Right. Bear with me. Right. Hey, I'm Nick Denny. Anybody know what this is? Congratulations, yes. One person in the room knows it's a computer. This is a BBC Micro, released in 1981. It's a British computer that was very well known if there were any Brits in the room. It's made by Acorn Computers, marketed by the BBC. It was a mainstay of classrooms throughout the 1980s. I first programmed on one of these using BASIC, which is a language where you can sort of do line number and then a command. So 10, print hello, 20, go to 10, and then you get, hello going down the screen. Acorn would go on to make their own Archimedes range of computers later, which used the RISC chip, which got spun into its own company called the initially Acorn RISC machines, then Advanced RISC Machine, because Apple didn't want to use something with a competitor's name, and now known as ARM. So all of you have probably got an ARM chip in your pocket right now. It's used in the majority of phones and a lot of laptops today. But back in 1981, you notice it doesn't have like an Acorn logo. It doesn't have a BBC logo. So let's zoom and enhance by the keyboard there. It's got the owl logo. This is for the computer literacy, easy for me to say, computer literacy project, which made the British public ready for the distant future-filled future of the 1990s. This involved TV programs and magazines, listings, programs you could type in. There were even late-night radio broadcasts where they would put data on the radio, and then you could record it to tape and download the, well, not download, it was, you record it to tape and you could play it and load it into the computer. I know these days some, the cool kids with their bands have releasing their albums on cassette tape again, so perhaps we should start releasing our GitHub repos on tape as well. So obviously the owl is chosen because it's a symbol of knowledge, and that goes all the way back to Greek mythology. So what do you think about this owl logo? Is it good? Great? I think it's a superb owl. Some people have got the joke. But what about something more local? In the future, for future PyCascades, we could also have some owl logos. So what owls around here? We have the barred owl. I've actually seen one of these in the wild near my house. As the name suggests, it's because it's no longer welcome back in that pub and it knows what it did. It's actually an invasive species, but despite that, I think it's a superb owl. Another owl is local. Is the great horned owl. It's also known as the tiger owl, the hoot owl. So it has the, what are not actually ears. They're actually used for camouflage and communication. And it makes them look more frightening. I don't know what you think about this, how you're going to rate this owl. Yep, it's a superb owl. And I've got a third suggestion. This is a western screech owl. It's actually much smaller. It is native to our region. According to the internet, it's closely related to the eastern screech owl, which is good. And obviously, it's named after the character in Saved by the Bell. And of course, it's a superb owl. And right, lastly, I wanted to suggest a different animal. I know, like, if we follow the pattern, we'd be in Vancouver next year, so maybe something more Canadian. So we got the moose. It's, megafauna, and they get to 7 feet tall. And that, to me, I think that makes it a big game. So I just wanted to conclude by wishing everybody a happy, superb owl weekend and enjoy the big game. Thank you.
If I had known about the puns, I would have warned you, I promise. Next up, we have Mason, who has promised me that the reason that I'm not saying the name of his talk has nothing to do with puns.
Yes, this is definitely not pun related. There will be no fun or puns involved. Well, fun depends on your definition of fun. I find this fun. It makes me laugh. It's up to you of whether or not you think it's funny. We can make that work. Okay, 1 second. Let me get my timer out to make sure I don't go over time. Luckily, I don't need my notes for this one. Okay, so my very first job I had out of college, I was working at a cybersecurity company that built enterprise products for protecting people's internal data. So we had a rack server, you put it inside of your data center, and it protected like your email and your web security and stuff. And my team built the operating system that this software is deployed on, and that required building out and compiling a large operating system and a lot of software, and that led to a lot of compiling time. This entire comic was my entire life. We would start start off the build and we would go to lunch. That's how long it would take. So during this time, we would often try to find, okay, what can we do for fun? What can we do to like pass the time? And that would lead us to making up a whole bunch of games, one of which was the most cursed game in existence, and today we're going to play it together. So the most cursed game in existence is it regex or is it line noise? It's a game that no one has ever wanted to play ever, and you get to play it today with me. So, for those of you that don't know, regex is also known as regular expressions, and it's a sequence of characters that forms a search pattern, usually to match patterns within a string, and we use it within the RE module within Python. Line noise typically refers to random or meaningless characters that have data that disrupts or corrupts the intended signal or information, and you probably see where I'm going with this. But can you tell the difference? We're going to find out today. So, the way the game works is I show you a string, you tell me if it's regex or line noise. If you get it right, you get a point. And you also get a bonus point if you can tell me what it matches. All of these are valid regexes in Python because everyone does it differently because there's not a spec for it. So, practice time. Is this regex or line noise? Shout it out. Regex, correct. This is regex because it matches numbers. I made my animations a little slow. This is going to be fun. This one is not. This is line noise, but it looks like it could be regex. Those are valid regex characters, but there's not actually it's not in the right order. So here we go. Is this regex or line noise? Regex, correct. This was valid regex. This matches US Social Security numbers. Did anyone get that? No? I'm going a little bit quick. Line noise. I'm also a little bit ahead on my thing. Okay. What about this one? Regex or line noise? Line noise. Ooh, y'all are good. I actually thought about making this into a card game. Y'all are making me think this should be done. Regex? Wow, okay, people do know their regex. And it matches email addresses. What about this one? Regex. What is it? IP addresses. But it doesn't validate the IP address. 256.256.256 would match there. What about this one? Line noise, correct, it is incorrect. This one. Wow, regex. Actually, no, I was wrong, it's line noise. There's an invalid character in here somewhere. Don't ask me where, I don't remember. What about this one? I never said this was fun, I said we're gonna do it together. This one is valid regex. Whenever someone asks you to do a strong password, ask them if they're sure. What about this one? This one is line noise. And now the most cursed sample of all. This. Is this regex? It is not. We don't even, what is this? Like, this is valid regex. This might not even be valid line noise. The poor line might be upset. Like, this was probably what was happening when the shark was chewing on the cable under the sea. But be fair, it is in fact valid Perl. That is all I have. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mason, for no more puns. Last up, we have Laz, who is going to tell us about Black Python devs.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I am Lazosh Ford. I am the regional executor of Black Python Devs in North America. Black Python Devs, if you haven't heard of it, is a community for Black Python Devs. And we aim to expand the Python community and link our members with resources, tools, their own local communities to help mutually our members, their communities, and practice and share our love of Python. So, why am I here with you today talking about this? What do I want, right? That's what you're asking. Well, really, I had a member ask me, hey, do you know of a Python community that does meetups in Beaverton? And I said, no. And they're like, I just moved there. I used to go to one in Portland, and it's hard for me to get to Portland. And I said, well, I can ask. So that's what I'm here doing. If you know of a meetup group in Beaverton, if you're part of a meetup group elsewhere in the Pacific Northwest, elsewhere online, I would love for you to message me and let me know so that way I can have that as a resource to give our members. Along with that, some of the things that we do, we sponsor meetups, we sponsor workshops, we sponsor conferences. And so, our whole thing is building the community where our members are at. If you don't know of a meetup in Beaverton or elsewhere, I told them, I said, if there's not one, I'll help you start it. So if that's also something you're interested in, again, let me know so that way I can help y'all start the meetups where you want them. With that, if you have, a book that you're working on, a workshop that you're working on, anything like that, let us know as well, because we would love to work with you to help our members get into contact with you, be involved with what you're working on. We have, over 1,000 members now all over the world, Africa, Europe, Cuba, Brazil, the US, Canada. So, it's not a localized thing, but the important thing is helping our members where they're at in the communities that they're already in. Not taking and trying to isolate and do our own thing. It's really about expanding, because we have people, they move somewhere new and they say, I don't know where to go. How do I get this out there? I'm like, well, have you gone to a meetup? I don't know where it is. So I would love if you would email me, message me on LinkedIn if you have anything that you're working on, that you know about. Of course, if you would like to support in other ways, this is just a link to the website. There is more information on there. There's a widget to donate if you're so inclined to do so. Even better if you can get your company to do so. But that is all I have for you. If you have questions, email me, let me know, find me in the halls. I'd love to answer them and talk to you. Thank you.